This is from one of our local papers. Take a pause to read that. Good morning, everyone. It's been a minute. I've had a lot going on. Yeah, so just a lot going on. So, I'm back for a minute. And I say for a minute because I never know how long it's gonna be. Turn on this light, okay? So, yeah, we've just had a lot going on. So we come back from Ohio visiting family, and it's been kind of one thing after another. I was getting everything unpacked and getting the house back together and checking in on the garden and mowing the lawn, and in between I've had some body glitches. And I even had one day with a little mental glitch because I just was so run down. Recently, I have an ovarian cyst, which has been causing me some really annoying pain. My pain threshold is pretty good. However, the Advil did not touch this pain. So I've been doing things in moderation, but because I've had so much time to sit, yesterday my neck and my back started hurting, and I'm like, all right, enough is enough. I've had it with this. I'm not going to claim this over my body. So I went to God and had him deal with it. It's still there, but it's very minimal to moderate now. So got a load of laundry in, and the dishwasher's running because I'm not going to be standing there at the sink doing dishes today. This morning I come across something, and first I'd like to mention I've been, I don't know, I feel like all my life, but I wanted to talk about these direct energy thingies. I'm not going to say that word. Not right now. And with that, I've been researching other things. I don't really believe in aliens per se, but I definitely know there's something. I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyone who knows me knows my story, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So I know that there's things, entities, falling angels, aliens, whatever you want to call them. There's things in the sky. There's things underground. There's things up here walking among us. I've even made jokes that they've, like the body snatchers, like these aliens have taken over the minds of people, and I make lots of jokes, and in every little joke there's a little bit of seriousness. But I come across something this morning, and they saw something glowing orange in the water. Well, as soon as I read that title, my first thought that come to my head was that series from 2005 to 2006 was Invasion. I forgot his name, but he also played Superman, the younger one. And there's quite a few actors in it that are really good. If you watch Lifetime, some of the actors you may have seen on Lifetime. But this season only ran one season. It never ran again. Or maybe it was two. I think it was just one. I don't know. It doesn't really matter at this point. But what does matter is, why did they take it off? Because a lot of people liked that series. So in the beginning, there was a hurricane, and people saw these orange glowing lights falling from the sky and land in the lake. Then later on, people said that they saw these glowing like things swimming through the water. Well, they're like predators. So these people come up missing, but then they came back but then their families said they weren't the same. So in the series, these aliens in the water that fell from the sky that were glowing orange would come to anyone that was in the water, and they would take them and wrap their whatever around them, and the person was still in the water, but then the person still in the water, that person was able to like walk, talk, have memories, everything that they lived before. But there was something different, and for everyone it was different. Some people acted out in violence, some people were just about almost the same, but something was definitely off. Like this woman, one of the main characters, her daughter knew that something was just really off about her mommy. So yeah, my husband and I and my daughter, we watched this, and it was very, very good. It was very, very good. And there's a fine line between conspiracy theory and theories. Just having thoughts and theories and putting things together, and too many things lining up to be coincidence. And I'm not saying this invasion series from 2005 is real. However, we all know what has gone on the past few years with higher ups all over the world wanting their people to fall in line with their junk narrative, okay? And they'll stop at nothing, obviously, to put this on you or that in you or whatever. So they're just going to keep going with this. And a lot of people have mentioned that there's going to be an alien invasion, or that maybe they're going to fake one. So then you'll listen. It's very deceiving. However, there's others that talk about movies and how it'll tell you in these movies what's going on or what's to come. I don't know what to believe, and I don't know what you believe. I'm just kind of putting this out here. So this golden orb looking thing, and I'll post pictures on here. Pretty sure this is how the first episode of X-Files started. A team member, according to the Mirror. So this is everything from the New York Post, the Washington Post, the Guardian. I mean, I've got many tabs up. They all have pretty much the same story. But another thing, I mean, the glowing in the Alaska waters, but another thing that was glowing orange. It alerted me in my brain when they said that the touch was like a skin tissue. So they're saying it could be like a sponge or an egg, and they're even all making jokes about it being like an alien egg. So, of course, your ocean people are out there. NOAA is out there, NOAA. But there's a live expedition on this, like right now. There's Camera 1, Seascape Alaska 5, so Gulf of Alaska remotely operated vehicle exploration. And they're going to be doing this until September 15th. Today's the 7th. So we just had a hurricane, and then we have another hurricane out, actually two of them, but one of them that could possibly disrupt the east coast of the United States, and it's Lee. And Wildlife made a joke, called it the General Lee. So we're going to be watching that, because as of, I think it was like the 12th, maybe sooner, it could be like a Category 4 they're estimating. So what is up with these hurricanes and the aliens and the glowy things in the water? And I mean, there's so much that we haven't explored. Like so much of the ocean that we haven't explored. So with all these disturbances, with earthquakes and hurricanes, it twirls things. I'm just going to say that for lack of better terminology. And it can throw things off, or it could throw, birds insects, marine life. It can raise things up, but they found this thing. So they saw it up in the, from up, and then they went down to go look at it. Yeah. So anyways, they're going to conclude on September 16th in 2023 in Seward, Seward. Maybe Be Charming can help me with that, in Alaska. The team will work to fill in gaps in our understanding of the region by conducting focus mapping and remotely operated vehicle. So it's like 656 feet. So the high sea levels of Canadian waters off Alaska. So yeah, I mean, they're just doing this whole expedition, looking at this glowy orange thing that they saw. Of course, when it's out of the water, it doesn't look very glowy or anything like that. But how many times have we seen people say we saw these orange lights in the sky falling from the sky and there's bodies of water all over the place? I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting, and I thought it was kind of weird. The dive did begin August 24th and will conclude until September 15th. There's a lot of things going on in September and then October. Just saying, I personally, in my heart, feel like there's going to be a great deceiving coming. Yeah. So they suctioned this strange object up a tube so it could be tested in a lab. So now we have it out of the water in a lab. Of course we do. And this is what it looks like. Yeah. So I do want to talk about that more at a later date, but these these do. Okay, we're just going to call them D.E.W. Shoot painful but non-lethal beams, and there are similar weapons, I said the word, behind the Havana syndrome. In 2020, a study of a Havana syndrome by the U.S. National by the science, all the words. 130 victims experienced some real physical phenomena. I'm sure that you guys know that in Cuba, there was a lot going on in this Havana syndrome. That's why it's called Havana syndrome. So the U.S. Embassy in Vienna earlier that year, there was incidences at the White House that there were these electromagnetic beams, and this Havana syndrome. I'm trying to get all this out in my head because I've been researching so long. You would think I'd be able to talk fluently about it, and for some reason I'm having a hard time with it. So they were experiencing alarming and unexplained symptoms that included a feeling of pressure on the face, loud noises, severe headaches, nausea, confusion, and in some cases, the victims seem to have been left with permanent health effects. So it's like a microwave. There was even this man in, he serves, okay? And he explained what it felt like to have the beam just near him. He felt his skin and burning and getting hot, and he felt strange. This thing can pinpoint and find directly a crowd, individual. So short wavelengths, a few hundred billionths of a meter, ultraviolet rays from the sun can burn the skin surface if someone is exposed for too long. Microwaves have longer wavelengths. People use these every day to reheat meals. Microwaves transfer energy into water molecules inside the food. The U.S. military has developed a direct energy technology that shoots a beam of a slightly longer wavelength in a focused area over distances up to a mile. This direct energy technology was designed for non-lethal control of crowds. Do you remember 2019-20? So these things can actually aggravate people or calm them down. So they pass through the skin and transfer energy to the water that lies just under the surface. A human body is mostly water. Yeah. So, defense through detection, it's plausible that just the right wavelength an electromagnetic beam could be projected over hundreds of yards to create the symptoms seen in Havana syndrome. Huh. No kidding. So, when they talk about the fray effect, yeah. It involves the microwaves activating the auditory sensory nerves. Other studies have noticed potential effects of microwaves on the central nervous system. Social dysfunction and anxiety. Further study is needed to determine the cause of Havana syndrome incidents. Unfortunately, this type of electronic radiation does not leave the telltale trace that sunburn, which makes it difficult to be certain of the explanation. So there's like this huge write-up. I'm just going to go to the next article. This one's about the Air Force medicine on the battlefield of tomorrow. Bullets and bombs will not be the only threat to U.S. military personnel. The rise of direct energy weapons is creating a need to understand the medical efforts of these weapons. The Air Force medical researchers are studying these questions. Evolving threats in a dangerous world drive the direction of the military health research. So there was a lieutenant, like I said, who had in the early stages of learning about the long and short-term medical effects. They actually used this man, a private, to test this on a low scale. So the feeling of intense heat without burning the target. So there was like a zap to the tissues of the body, all those type of feelings. I'm just skipping around because this is just, I'll do more on this. I just want to kind of bring this out. So there's also a PDF file from the Gov. But this has been going on a long time. They even talked about the X-rays in 1897. John Thomson demonstrated the existence of electrons and proved the divisibility of atoms. 1898. The proton. The following year, Ernest Rutherford traced alpha and beta particles radiating from uranium, and in 1990, Anton Henry Becquerel, I'm probably hacking these, where are these names, showed that beta particles were in fact electrons. Yep. So, 1905, when Albert Einstein published the special theory of relativity, I'm just all over because there's just so much information to dissect here. It's absolutely insane. This has been, in my opinion, shown and proved that this bothers people in a big scale and in a very direct, honed in scale. So whether it be one person or a crowd or a town, it can make you feel ill and have all kinds of weird symptoms. It literally affects the the brain. And remember, I put out a video not too long ago, I think I did a live on it, about Newcom. Yeah, I did the live. So check out that live, because this definitely lines up with all that. Yeah. So I just find, between these symptoms and these governments who have these electromagnetic beams. Did you know there's a place called Diesel? It's all capital letters spelled out Diesel. And it's one of the places that these dues are. That's what we'll say. Yeah. So can you imagine drones and things on buildings and things in the sky like satellites and, vehicles that move and just have all these sound things going off? Whether it be a electromagnetic beam or a sound wave. You can imagine putting those together. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna try to explain this in a better way than I can use words. So watch this. One of the first people in this series, okay, I call it kind of a movie, but it's a movie series. One of the women who works at a hospital come up missing after the hurricane, and she comes back and she's just kind of off. And that glowy thing that you just saw in the water is what is taking people. So her husband is a policeman, but her ex-husband of her children is a forest ranger. And her ex-husband in the series, I don't want to say he's not a good person, but he's not great. He does a lot of covering up through the series of things, and he knows certain things and is trying to protect certain things, and he does certain things that are not so good to protect will happen. So anyway, he knows that his real wife is down at the bottom of that lake, and he knows that one of those things is what she come back as. Again, this is really far-fetched, but is it? I don't know. And is it just a coincidence that this all took place in Florida? And it's in September, and look at all these other sightings in September. So when I say they come from the sky, something actually explodes from the ocean, from the lake, so not the ocean, but from the lake, and it goes up, and then they come back down. So where did these things actually come from?